I'm willing to bet that every single one of you has either used a face oil or you're currently considering using a face oil, because face oils are so popular these days in skincare, and today I want to talk to you about my thoughts on face oils. One of the most common questions I get from people over DM is, what's my favorite face oil? My unfortunate answer is, I don't really love face oil. It's not one of my favorite products. I think there are uses for face oil, and I have definitely used face oils, and I have some that are in my current rotation. But I have lots of thoughts about face oil. They're not very straightforward, and I really think that people are overdoing it. Like, I think we've come to like max face oils. Like, I think it's just too much now. Like, every single brand has different face oils. Some people I know are like layering face oils. Some people are like slathering their face. I mean, like, I'm seeing people look like they're melting or something out on the streets because they're putting on so much face oil. And it's just, you know, you guys, we gotta stop with the face oil. We gotta slow it down, put a little pump the brakes, and let's talk about how you should use face oil, at least how I like to use face oil, because I think it's different for everybody, because everyone really does have different skin types. But I'm gonna talk to you guys about how I use face oil. So let's talk about first the different types of oils out there. I wanna talk about the main types of oils, because these days I feel like there are just like oils for every single thing out there. And I wanna just address like the main ones that are out there. First off, there are cleansing face oils. You know I love these. I am obsessed with cleansing my skin with either like a cleansing oil or a balm, which is essentially the same thing, just in balm form. It turns into a cleansing oil. I think oil is a great way to cleanse your face because it breaks down all the other oil on your skin, like the sebum, and it breaks down waterproof mascara and eyeliner, just all that thick makeup you're wearing. Oil really breaks it down. But cleansing oils are the first step in a double cleanse for me, because then I move on to a regular face cleanser right after I've used an oil. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. I'm not really talking about face cleansing oils in this video. I kind of think of them as a different type of product in general, but I wanted to address that because they are an oil. The two main types of face oils out there, in my opinion, are treatment oils, and these are oils that are used in place of a serum. So they're oils that have a really active ingredient in them, like retinol, salicylic acid, vitamin C. Any of these like really active ingredients, there are treatment oils that have these ingredients. And then there are the other types of oils that are really, really popular. They're like the soothing, hydrating oils that people use all over their skin, sometimes like that take the place of all of the rest of their skincare, and they're like, they swear up and down like oil has changed their life. I think we've done too much with that, right? Okay, so let's start with the treatment oils. I actually personally think treatment oils can be very good. I feel like oil can be a really good carrier of these active ingredients, and that's why I really like some of these products and why it's like my preferred method of using a face oil. Some that I personally like are like Ren Skincare has a retinol that's really good. It's very strong. It does a really good job. It's basically like the next step before I get a prescription Retin-A, and I love this one. It's really good, and it's in an oil form. I really love by Votary. They have the salicylic acid oil. You can use it on your breakouts. So whenever I get like a random breakout, I'll put it on there because it also adds that hydration and soothes the breakout. So instead of just completely drying out your breakout, you're using the salicylic acid, and then it's actually hydrating and soothing that pimple and breakout. So that's why I love that one. And side note, it's not what it's for, but I actually use it in my bikini area because it's a salicylic acid and it's soothing. And I think that that's also something that you need down there to prevent ingrown hairs. It's like it's like the double effect that you need. It's like that hydration and the exfoliation. There you go. And then another one that I really like is by Biossance. It's a vitamin C, and it's a really good carrier of that vitamin C. It's soothing to your skin. A lot of people tell me that vitamin C sometimes irritates their skin, so the oil really helps counteract that. It's a rose oil. It's really nice. It feels very luxurious, and I like that one. I think it's a really good one. Do I use these all the time? I don't use oil all the time. I tend to go back to like the water-based serums and stuff because I just find that those work better for my skin. But I do really like these treatment oils. And I apply these before moisturizer. That's a key difference. So now we're moving to the next type of oils, the ones that I think that people really overdo. These are those like soothing, hydrating oils. There are tons of these out there. There's been like this explosion of everyone having an oil. They're not created equal. And I think that's like the big thing to point out. I was actually emailing back and forth a little bit with celebrity dermatologist Dr. Lancer. I think he's a really good resource if you want to like really speak to somebody who is very knowledgeable in skincare. Obviously, he's certified as a dermatologist, but he also just works with some really famous faces, and he has to make sure their skin looks good, right? He doesn't mind oils. He thinks oils are perfectly fine to have in your skincare routine, but his big thing is to look for really high quality face oil. If it's not high quality, if it's been purified, or it's just like, you know, has a lot of filler stuff in it, lots of different like filler ingredients, or like if it's inexpensive, or if it's been poorly constructed. There are a lot of things, and it's hard, you guys. That's why there are, again, so many oils to look at. It's hard to really pinpoint which oil works for you. But he said if you don't get the right oil, it can actually irritate contact dermatitis. And that's not a good thing. You don't wanna, make your skin have a weird reaction. And I think that's what people think sometimes when they're like, oh, oil makes my skin break out. You're probably using something that is making your skin break out, but it's not necessarily a pimple breakout. It's like a reaction that your skin is having. And for the record, he actually addressed that in the email with me too. And he said, blemishes come from the inside out. They are not caused by oils. That's just a myth. So you're probably wondering, like, why is Susan not a fan of these face oils? There are two ways that I like to use soothing oils. They're not actually a very regular part of my skincare routine because I prefer so many other products to face oils, and I'm gonna show you why. This is gonna be visual for you guys. So I went to Trader Joe's and I got some cheap little sponges that are just dehydrated. I cut up one sponge into 3 pieces, and I want you guys to think of this dry sponge as like your skin. Really, really parched and dry, and it needs hydration, right? And in the sponge, there are like different layers, just like your skin. We have different layers of skin. The top layer is kind of like the one that's exposed to the world, and then it just kind of goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and you need that moisture to kind of get down there, right? I'm not gonna even show you the brands because it has nothing to do with the brands at all. I've got an oil, I've got a hyaluronic acid, and I've got a cream moisturizer. I'm gonna put one on each of these on top, kind of like the way we would apply it to our skin. And I'm just gonna let them sit and show you what difference they do. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with any of them. I'm saying there's just a difference in the way they work on our skin. All right, so first I'm gonna go with the moisturizer. I'm gonna put it on the one in the middle, just like we had put. I got a little bit more, so I'll just go ahead and put it on the little sides there, give a little, pat that in, just like we would pat it into our skin. I'll let it sit there for a second. This next one is a face oil. I'm gonna put it here. Let's do a couple drops. So really give it a go. I wouldn't even recommend putting that many drops of oil on your face, so I'm actually using a lot on that little piece of sponge to give it like a really clear chance, like really give it a chance to compete with the moisturizer and the humectant. And then this last one is a hyaluronic acid, which is a humectant. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that whole drop right here. Here we go. You can already see a difference when you put that one on. That is hyaluronic acid. Wow, look at that bubble. Look at that one bubble up. It's pretty amazing. Okay, so I only just put these on and you can already see like a big difference in what's happening. But you know what, let's let it sit for a second, just like we would let it sit on our skin, and let's come back to it. All right, so I've let them sit for about 5 minutes more or less, and there's already a really big difference in how they work on top of the sponge / our skin. Again, just to remind you guys, this is the hyaluronic acid, this is the moisturizer, the cream, and then this is the oil. And I want to reiterate, there is nothing wrong with the way that these work. This is just how they work, and I wanted to show you guys that. So you can see this, like it's spongy feeling. It's got a bouncy, like spongy feel to it, and you can even see like it went down into the layers, and I'm sure it would go down even further after a little while. And I'm going in this order because I want you to, like, this is the order that I would apply these to. So I would put a hyaluronic acid, a humectant, I would put that first on top of my skin, and that's because it's gonna penetrate like that, and look, it makes it bouncy, right? It's getting those bottom layers too. Then I would go with the cream moisturizer. You can see like it doesn't do that whole like bounciness, and it doesn't even really go deep into the layers, but it kind of went into that top layer and gave it that moisture. And if you feel it, the top layer is bouncy. So this just feels like sponge bouncy, whereas the top layer, I can just tell it's like only the top layer is bouncy and spongy. So I would go from the hyaluronic acid to the moisturizer, and then I would finish it with an oil, and you can see why. The oil sits right on top. So if I touch this, there's softness, definitely like an added softness now to the top layer of the sponge, but you can also see it didn't go anywhere. Like it really is on the surface part of the skin, and it gave it softness to it. So when I say like this is the order, this is the reason. You want to go penetrates deeply, penetrates the top, packs it all in, right? That's how you kind of want to go. You don't have to use an oil. You can just go this and then this, and you're solid, but you can add that and you're good. And again, that's just my preference. It's my skin type. I think that I do better with other kinds of products. And so I save the face oils for 2 other reasons. I like these types of face oils when I'm gonna do something like jade rolling, because I really think it gives that nice like lubrication and that smooth roll that you need on your skin, so you're not pulling your skin. So I'll put the oil on, and I'll actually put more oil than I normally would put, because I actually want it to be a little bit greasy. And then I'll actually use the jade roller, and then after that I actually wash it off. So that's something to note. The second reason why I would use these types of oils is when I want to like soothe my skin. So let's say like I had, I don't know, some kind of a reaction to my skin. I can't really think of a time, but there are times when I just think like, oh, my skin really just needs to be pampered. And that's what I associate these oils with, and maybe that's the reason why I don't use these like on a regular daily basis. I'll use these to like soothe my skin. It's like when I'm really doing like an indulgent skincare routine, that's when I'll use it. Maybe it's because I've been traveling, or I really want to lock in all the like skincare work that I did, you know, like all the whole routine that I did. I feel like an oil really holds all of that moisture in. So if you're on a flight, right before you get on the flight, you do your skincare routine and you end it with an oil, and your skincare is gonna stay real strong. The problems that I see is that people are using way too much of these oils. First off, you only need like a couple drops. Your skin shouldn't look like it has oil on your skin. Like you shouldn't look like a big, you know, grease slick. Like you should just get a couple drops, pat it into your skin, and it should truly absorb into your skin within a few minutes. Otherwise, it's a bad oil. If it's just like sitting on top of your skin, it wasn't meant for you, or it's a bad oil. That's something to keep note of, right? It wasn't good. Maybe you should move on. Second, if you don't want the oil to just be sitting on your skin, you shouldn't use multiple oils. Don't layer like 3 or 4 oils on your face. You don't want it running down into your eyes. It can irritate your eyes and have like adverse reactions and everything. You don't want to do that. One other thing that I'll point out about face oils in general is I've noticed that there are a lot that have a lot of like strong scents to them. I would be wary of those. Everyone messages me and they're like, what, you know, like, I want to try oils because they're non-toxic, or they're like organic and natural and all that stuff. But I will say, you guys, they're not necessarily non-toxic if they've got a ton of added fragrance. If it has natural fragrance to it, it's probably okay. If it has added fragrance, you don't want that. That's gonna irritate your skin, especially if you have sensitive skin, so keep that in mind too. And then the last thing is, I personally think that if you use oils a lot, then you have to really exfoliate your skin afterwards too. I've spoken to a lot of estheticians, and I feel like they're really torn about the usage of oils, and I think it's not because oils aren't good for your skin. I think it's because people use them wrong, or they're using the wrong oils. I can't stand when I hear people say that they use only coconut oil on their face to moisturize it. I like coconut oil, don't get me wrong. I like using it for things like, you know, maybe putting it on your body, doing like, you know, the ends of your hair to hydrate and moisturize the split ends that you have. There are definitely uses for coconut oil, but it's not one of those things that I recommend for someone's face. If you want to take your makeup off, again, whole different thing. I don't like it as a moisturizer. I think my biggest issue, to really simplify this, with the soothing, hydrating face oils is that people have like really stopped using all other skincare, and they tell me that they only use face oils in their skincare routine. And the problem with that is face oils hydrate in a different way. They protect your skin, they kind of sit on the top layer of your skin, and they add that hydration to that top layer, but they're kind of keeping everything in. Moisturizers, like a thick cream moisturizer, works in a similar way, that it's moisturizing that top layer, but it's still actually adding like a plumpness to the skin. And then when it comes to like a humectant, like a hyaluronic acid for instance, that is actually drawing moisture either from the air or from like the inner layers of your skin. It's plumping your skin, and it's just different ways of hydrating your skin, of moisturizing your skin. And they're not the same thing. I'm not a scientist, so I'm not gonna like try to get into the like scientific reasons for all of this stuff. Maybe somebody watching can actually explain how all of this works in the comments. But my point is, you still need other skincare. You might need a moisturizer, you might need a serum. You can't just keep going using only oils, in my opinion. Get your skincare routine down right. It might not be that you need oils. Maybe you don't need oils. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Not everyone needs oils. Don't buy into the trend just because there are so many oils out there. Just do what's good for your skin. Tell me in the comments below if you agree with me. What are your thoughts on oils? There's just so much to talk about when it comes to oils, to face oils specifically. I'd love to know your experience with oils and what you do with them. Like, do you use them on your face? Do you not use them? Did you break out? Do you know what happened? How do they fit into your routine? Tell me in the comments. I really, really want to know. Find me on Instagram. I'm at Susan Yara. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like it, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.